Take a deep breath. Yes, right now. Breathe in slowly, and exhale even slower. Let the world fade for a moment. Let the noise outside you soften, and the storm within you settle. Feel that gentle whisper. It's not coming from your mind. It's your soul. It's been trying to get your attention for a long time. And now, finally, you're quiet enough to hear it. There's something you were never supposed to know. Something sacred. Something powerful. And yet, here you are, on the brink of discovering it. This message didn't come to you by accident. You were guided here. Everything in your life, the joy, the heartbreak, the confusion, the chaos, it was all building toward this very moment. The moment when your eyes begin to open to something ancient and hidden, something buried deep in your DNA, in your spirit. You might feel like something has been tugging at you lately. A strange feeling that you can't quite explain. Maybe you've been feeling disconnected from the people around you. Or maybe the things that once brought you comfort now feel hollow. That's not coincidence. That's awakening. You're being pulled toward something real, something that was kept from you. You were trained not to ask, conditioned not to wonder, programmed to believe that life is just a routine, that your purpose is survival, that love is conditional and fate is a fantasy. But your soul, it remembers. You've lived more lifetimes than you can count. You've crossed galaxies in silence. You've touched the divine, even if this version of you doesn't yet understand how or when. But now, the veil is lifting, slowly, subtly, and it's too late to go back. Let yourself sit with this. You've always known there was more to life. Even as a child, you felt things deeply, things others overlooked. You asked questions no one wanted to answer. You noticed patterns, synchronicities, feelings in the air that others dismissed as imagination. You weren't imagining it. You were remembering. You were remembering who you are, and who you were never meant to forget. The transformation you're undergoing right now might feel subtle, but make no mistake, it is massive. A shift is occurring in your emotional and spiritual blueprint. You're starting to see the world not with your eyes, but with your soul. And when you see with the soul, everything changes. Pain becomes purpose. Loneliness becomes divine calling. Uncertainty becomes initiation. And suddenly, the heartbreaks that once shattered you become sacred teachers. The rejections that broke you down become redirections from the divine. The confusion becomes a catalyst for clarity. You are in the middle of that sacred alchemy right now. You may not see it clearly just yet. You might still feel lost. You might still be questioning everything. But here's the truth. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Right now. In this moment. Reading these words. Your healing is not something far away. It's already in motion. It's been happening in your sleep, in your tears, in your silence, and in your surrender. It's been unfolding every time you chose to keep going, even when you didn't understand the why. The universe doesn't always shout. Sometimes it speaks in whispers. And the whisper that's coming through now is this. You were never supposed to know, but now you do. You are not who you were told you are. You are more. You are an old soul wrapped in stardust, wearing the disguise of limitation so you could play out the beautiful illusion of awakening. And now, the illusion is cracking. Look around you. Notice how everything feels different lately. The sky seems deeper. The timing of things feels off, yet strangely divine. People are leaving your life, not out of cruelty, but to make room for new alignments. And something inside you keeps urging you to dig deeper, to pay attention to what's beneath the surface. That's not random. That's a sign. There's something that has been hidden in plain sight your entire life. Something your ancestors knew. Something your dreams have tried to show you. Something encoded in the stars, the seasons, the shadows of your own emotions. And that something is waking up. The energies around you are shifting. Old truths are crumbling. New codes are activating. And you are the vessel being prepared to carry something ancient into a new world. The memories are returning, not as clear thoughts, but as deep inner knowing. You're beginning to feel it in your bones. You are remembering your divine origin. You are remembering the mission you signed up for before you were born. You are remembering that your emotions aren't weaknesses. They are sacred messengers guiding you back to yourself. There will be moments when you'll doubt this journey. Moments when it feels easier to go back to sleep, to pretend you never felt it, to numb yourself with distractions. But the truth will keep knocking, because now that you've begun to awaken, it's too late to unknow. The soul doesn't forget. The heart doesn't lie. The universe doesn't waste energy. And this moment, this message, is your confirmation. Something massive is stirring beneath the surface of your life. The ground may be shaking, but it's only because the old is crumbling to make space for something sacred to rise. You were never supposed to know this, but now you do, and that knowing will change everything. You are not broken. You are breaking through. You are not lost. You are being redirected. You are not alone. You are being called by something ancient, something divine, something that has waited lifetimes for you to hear its voice. So take another deep breath. Feel it. Let it rise. Because the transformation has already begun, and there's no turning back now. There is someone out there whose soul has always been tied to yours. You may not know their name. You might not recognize their face, but your soul does, and it always has. You see, before this lifetime, before your first breath, your first heartbreak, your first glimpse of the stars, there was a bond created in the realm of spirit, a vow made in silence, a promise sealed not with words, but with soul. You and this other being agreed to find each other again, to meet when the time was right, to remember. And now, that time is drawing near. This is the connection that you were never supposed to know too soon, the kind of love that could not be rushed, only awakened, because to recognize them, truly recognize them, you had to first find pieces of yourself. You had to walk alone. You had to break. You had to rebuild, because only then could you see them clearly. This person, your soulmate, is not just someone who fits into your life. They are someone who completes lifetimes of unfinished stories. You have danced with them before, in different bodies, under different stars. You've met them in dreams, in flashes, in waves of emotion that seem to rise from nowhere. You've seen them when you closed your eyes at night and asked the universe, "Who am I missing?" They are the answer. There is a longing inside you that no physical experience has satisfied, a hunger for a connection so deep, so familiar, that it feels like coming home. That longing is not loneliness. It is the memory of a bond that stretches across lifetimes. And it's calling you now. Sometimes, this person shows up in whispers before they arrive. You might hear their name in a song you've never listened to. You might feel an unexplainable warmth during a cold moment. You might see numbers, signs, repeating everywhere: 1111, 222, 444. You might be drawn to places you've never been, to ideas you've never considered, to feelings that arrive without cause. That is the thread between you tightening, pulling you closer, aligning your energies. Because the meeting, it's coming, and when it does, everything will make sense. You'll recognize them by how your soul reacts. There won't be fireworks in the traditional sense. No loud proclamations. Just a quiet knowing. A sense of peace so profound, it will silence every voice of doubt you've ever carried. You'll look into their eyes and remember, not just who they are, but who you are. You'll feel that ancient ache start to fade. The ache of separation, of yearning, of waiting. Because in that moment, you will understand, you were never really apart. Not in spirit. Not in energy. You've always been walking toward each other, even when you didn't know it. Your soulmate will not save you. You've already saved yourself by surviving this far. But they will see you fully. They will understand the silent battles you've fought, the invisible pain you've carried, the beauty you've hidden from the world. And when they look at you, you will feel like the most real version of yourself. No masks. No defenses. Just truth. This isn't just romance. This is divine recognition. You were never supposed to know the truth of this connection early on, because it would have distracted you from the work, from the healing, from the sacred becoming. But now that you've walked through fire, now that you've met your shadows and made peace with your pain, now you are ready. And so are they. They've been on their own journey too, stumbling through lessons, uncovering their truth, facing their fears. Maybe they've loved and lost. Maybe they've suffered in silence. But all of it was leading them to you. They've been preparing to hold space for your soul, just as you've been preparing to welcome theirs. Your hearts speak the same language. A language older than words, older than memory, older than time. And soon you will hear it, not through sound, but through feeling. You may feel them before you see them, in a dream that leaves you breathless, in a sudden wave of emotion that crashes through you out of nowhere, in the silence of a moment that suddenly feels like eternity. That's them. That's the bond, reminding you that you're not alone in this universe. You never were. This connection is not bound by logic. It will not follow the rules of time or distance. You may meet them in a crowded room or in an unexpected place. You may feel like no time has passed when you're together, or like lifetimes have passed when you're apart. But through it all, one truth will remain. Your souls know each other. They recognize each other's frequency, the way two notes of a forgotten song come together in harmony. And once you meet, the world around you may not change immediately, but something inside you will. It will feel like the final piece of a puzzle snapping into place. And you'll realize, this is what you've been waiting for. Not a person to fix you, but a mirror to reveal you. Not a savior, but a sacred partner. Not a fantasy, but a cosmic reunion. Your soulmate is not here to complete you. You are already whole. But their presence will remind you of the parts of yourself you buried. The joy, the softness, the wildness, the wonder. With them, you will feel safe to be fully human and fully divine. With them, you will find both stillness and fire. With them, you will finally understand why love is the most powerful force in the universe, not because it binds, but because it frees. So don't rush it. Trust the timing. The connection is already written in the stars. Let the universe do its work. Because now that you've remembered the truth, now that you know what was never meant to be revealed so soon, it's already too late to forget. They're coming. And when they arrive, you'll know. Because your soul will whisper, "There you are. I've been waiting." There's something about you that you were never supposed to fully understand, not until now. Something ancient. Something powerful. Something the world tried to make you forget. because if you truly understood it, you'd be unstoppable. It's your energy, not just your physical energy, not just your mood or your motivation, but the sacred force that radiates from the deepest parts of your soul, the frequency you carry, the vibration that has always whispered to the universe, "I am here." You were born with a unique energetic blueprint, a signature that no one else in the world has. It's like your spiritual fingerprint. And every moment you've lived, every lesson you've learned, every emotion you've felt, has shaped and refined that energy. You are not just a person. You are a force. But you were never told that. Instead, you were taught to dim your light, to doubt your instincts, to suppress your emotions. You were told to fit in, to be small, to follow the rules. Also, you wouldn't notice the divine power running through your veins, because if you did, you would wake up. And that's exactly what's happening now. You're waking up. You're starting to sense the truth, that you are magnetic, that your thoughts, your intentions, your desires, they shape your reality in ways most people can't even comprehend. You're not just reacting to life anymore. You're beginning to realize that life reacts to you, the people you attract, the challenges you face, the opportunities that appear. They're not random. They're responses to your energy. And your energy is changing. That's why certain people are falling away. Why old patterns feel heavier. Why you can't tolerate anything that drains your soul anymore. It's not that you're becoming distant, it's that your frequency is rising, and everything that isn't aligned with your truth is being cleared out. This shift can feel like loss, but it's actually liberation, because now you're starting to vibrate at the level of your purpose. And as that happens, you'll notice something strange. You'll begin to influence the world around you in subtle but powerful ways. People will feel calmer around you without knowing why. Lights may flicker when your emotions surge. Animals may gravitate toward you. Strangers may open up to you. You may think of someone and they suddenly call. That's not coincidence. That's energy. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to broadcast. Your aura, the energetic field that surrounds you, holds codes, colors, and frequencies that transmit your essence to the world. When you step into a room, you don't just enter physically. Your energy walks in first, and people feel it, whether they understand it or not. Some will be drawn to you. Some will be intimidated by you. Some will try to drain you, because your energy shines like a signal. And those who are disconnected from themselves will either seek your light or try to extinguish it. But here's the hidden truth no one ever told you. You have full control. You can raise your vibration with your thoughts, your breath, your choices. You can expand your field. You can protect your energy. You can charge your aura like a battery and use it to manifest, to heal, to awaken others. Your energy is not passive. It's a tool, a weapon, a blessing, and it responds to your consciousness. That's why emotions are so powerful. They are energy in motion, literally, emotion. When you suppress them, they stagnate. When you feel them fully, they move. They cleanse. They shift your vibration. And when your vibration shifts, your reality follows. You are the transmitter and the receiver. What you send out, you attract. What you believe, you create. What you feel, you magnetize. But you were never supposed to know this, because if you did, you'd stop giving your power away. You'd stop chasing things and start drawing them to you. You'd stop living by logic and start living by alignment. And the systems built to control you, they don't want that. They don't want awakened beings walking around radiating truth, love, and sovereignty. They want sleepwalkers, doubters, drifters. But you're remembering. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's your compass. Your emotions aren't a burden, they're your superpower. Your desires aren't selfish, they're sacred instructions from your soul. And your energy, it's the key to everything. When you align your energy with your intentions, when your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in harmony, you unlock what mystics and sages have called flow, the state where the universe seems to move with you, not against you, where synchronicities abound, where you say, "I need a sign," and the sign arrives. That's not magic. That's mastery, and it begins with awareness. Awareness of what drains you, awareness of what nourishes you, awareness of the thoughts you think when no one's watching, the way you speak to yourself, the stories you tell, the beliefs you carry, because every word you speak is a spell, every thought is a seed, every emotion is a vibration. And those vibrations ripple out into the quantum field, the invisible web of energy that connects all things. What you send into that field, you call back. It's not karma. It's not fate. It's resonance. Like attracts like. And now, your resonance is shifting. You're not meant to vibrate at the level of fear anymore, or guilt, or shame. You've spent enough time there. You've done your shadow work. You've honored the pain. Now, it's time to rise. To love. To joy. To truth. That's where your power lives. That's where your energy becomes unstoppable. So tune in. Protect your space. Clear your field. Choose your thoughts with intention. Move your body with presence. Speak your truth with love. And most of all, trust your frequency, because it knows the way. You are not here to chase your destiny. You are here to attract it. With your energy. And now that you remember who you really are, there's no going back. There's a reason you're waking up now. Not last year, not 10 years ago, not in some distant future, but right here, right now. And it's not random. It's divine timing. You see, your soul chose this moment for a reason. This particular chapter in history. This specific frequency on the earth. This exact alignment of the stars, the chaos, the breakthroughs, the breakdowns. All of it was written into your path like sacred code, waiting to be activated. And now, the activation is happening, because the world is shifting. The Earth is undergoing a massive vibrational upgrade, a quantum leap in frequency, and your soul knew it. Your higher self has been patiently watching and waiting for the exact moment when the veil would thin, when the collective would start to stir, when the energies would rise just enough to support your awakening. That moment is now. You didn't miss the boat. You are the boat. You are the vessel that was designed to sail through this storm, not sink in it. Your DNA holds ancient codes from lifetimes you don't consciously remember, but your soul does. Codes that were time to unlock as the Earth's frequency began to rise. And now, the locks are breaking open. You might have felt it recently. Strange dreams, surges of emotion, moments of déjà vu, spiritual insights out of nowhere. Maybe you've looked around at your life, and suddenly nothing feels the same. That's not a breakdown. That's a breakthrough. It's the dismantling of the old so the new can emerge. You are not just waking up to yourself. You're waking up to your mission, because the timing of your awakening is aligned with a bigger shift, the collective ascension of human consciousness. More souls are waking up now than ever before. But not all at once. Not randomly. Each soul is being triggered to rise at the precise moment that their light is needed. And yours is needed now. You are part of the grid. Not the matrix, the divine grid. A sacred network of awakened souls strategically placed around the world to hold the frequency of the new earth. You didn't come here to be saved. You came here to help anchor the transformation, to be a lighthouse during the storm, to transmit love, truth, and clarity into a world that's been drowning in illusion. But you couldn't do that until you woke up, and you couldn't wake up until the frequency was right. Imagine a seed planted deep underground. It doesn't sprout on day one. It waits. It senses. It aligns with the earth's warmth, with the moisture, with the sun. And then, when all conditions are finally right, it bursts forth. That's you. You've been underground, gathering wisdom, healing wounds, learning hard lessons. You've been growing in silence. And now, the inner work is about to become outer impact. Because divine timing isn't just about you being ready. It's about the world being ready for you, the people you're meant to help, the lives you're meant to touch, the truth you're meant to speak. It's all part of a divine orchestration far greater than your conscious mind can comprehend. But your soul knows. That's why you've felt the urgency. That's why life has felt more intense lately, like everything is accelerating. Because it is. Time is speeding up. The veils between dimensions are thinning. Old karmic cycles are collapsing. And souls like yours, old, wise, and deeply powerful, are being called online. And the timing is everything. Because some doors only open when the energy is aligned. Some missions only activate after certain initiations. Some wisdom only reveals itself through time. You had to go through what you went through, not as punishment, but as preparation. You needed the heartbreak. You needed the betrayal. You needed the darkness. Not because you deserved it, but because you needed to remember how powerful your light really is. You needed to see what isn't real, so you could remember what is. You needed to forget yourself, so you could rediscover the truth. And now, you're rising. Not in ego, but in purpose. The timing of your awakening is connected to ancient celestial cycles. Eclipses, planetary alignments, solar flares, they're not just cosmic events. They are energetic gateways. Portals that open to flood the planet with higher frequencies, activating the dormant codes in souls like you. That's why you're being drawn to astrology, numerology, spiritual teachings. That's why you're more sensitive to energy. That's why old ways of living no longer feel right. You're aligning with your divine clock. Because spiritual awakening isn't just a choice. It's a calling. And when the universe says, now, it's not a whisper. It's a command. You may not feel ready. You may feel tired, confused, overwhelmed. But your soul is ready. That's why everything is accelerating. Why old timelines are collapsing. Why relationships are shifting. Why you can't go back to who you were. Because that version of you was created for survival. This version is created for purpose. And the timing of this transformation couldn't be more perfect. Because the world is crying out for truth. For light. For leaders who are rooted in love, not fear. In alignment, not control. In presence, not performance. And those leaders, they're not out there somewhere. They're you. The ones who have walked through fire. The ones who have broken and rebuilt. The ones who know what it means to suffer, and still choose to love. So trust the timing. Even if it doesn't make logical sense. Even if everything around you seems to be falling apart. Because sometimes things fall apart right on time. To make space. To make room. to break the illusion that you were ever anything less than divinely guided. You were never late. You were never lost. You were being timed to awaken at the exact moment when your light would have the greatest impact. And now that moment has arrived. Let's talk about what no one wants to say out loud. You were never meant to stay asleep, but they tried to make sure you did. Who are they? It's not just one person, not just one group. It's a collective force, a system, a web of influences designed to keep your mind clouded, your soul distracted, and your power suppressed. From the moment you arrived on this planet, there were energies already working to keep you small, to make you forget, to make you fit into a mold that was never meant for you. These powers don't want you to awaken, because an awakened soul is free, and nothing is more dangerous to control than a free being. They've been hiding the truth in plain sight. They built the matrix you were born into, a system of illusions wrapped in comfort, fear, and repetition. From early childhood, you were programmed. Be good. Obey. Follow the rules. Don't ask questions. Fit in. Shrink. Hide your feelings. Trust the system. Forget your dreams. You were told what success looks like. A job, a house, a family, a pension. But no one ever asked if that's what your soul came here to experience. You were told who you are, before you ever had a chance to decide for yourself. And this wasn't random. It was intentional, because when you forget who you are, you become easy to manipulate. There's a reason schools never taught you about energy, about vibration, about universal law, manifestation, soul contracts, reincarnation, karma, or the divine blueprint coded within your DNA. They taught you dates, facts, memorization, and conformity, because that keeps you in line. That keeps you asleep. They taught you what to think, not how to think, and they made sure to drown your intuition in noise. Television, social media, overstimulation, fear-based news cycles, celebrities as distractions, trauma as entertainment, algorithms that pull you deeper into anxiety and away from truth. And if you ever tried to rebel, they labeled you crazy, weird, too sensitive, delusional, overthinking, paranoid. You weren't paranoid. You were remembering. You were starting to see the cracks in the illusion, and that terrified the system, because one awakened soul is more powerful than 1,000 programmed minds. And if enough of you wake up, the whole structure collapses. So they fed you lies about love, about success, about worthiness. They told you your body had to look a certain way to be lovable, that your productivity defined your value, that your pain was something to hide, not heal. They sold you fear and called it security. They numbed you with comfort and called it peace. But comfort isn't peace. It's sedation. It's spiritual anesthesia. And now, it's wearing off. Because no matter how hard they tried to keep you asleep, they failed. Why? Because your soul is more powerful than any program. Your intuition is older than any institution. Your light is encoded with truth that can't be buried forever. And they know it. That's why they fight so hard to distract you, to make you question yourself, to make you feel alone. Because if you ever truly remembered, if you ever stepped fully into your divine self, their power over you would be gone. Because you are the power, not the system, not the media, not the governments. You. But here's the twist. The powers that tried to suppress you were also part of the divine plan. They were the shadows that forced you to seek your light. They were the illusions that made you hunger for truth. They were the noise that helped you hear your own inner voice. In this cosmic play of awakening, even the villains have a role. They tried to trap you, and in doing so, they triggered your liberation. They gave you the contrast you needed to see clearly. And now that you're waking up, you can see the patterns. It's not personal. It's spiritual. This is about frequency. The lower forces operate in fear, shame, guilt, and control. The higher realms vibrate in love, truth, sovereignty, and expansion. The more you awaken, the more you rise in frequency, and the more their grip loosens. You're not a victim of the matrix anymore. You're becoming a master of it. You see the manipulation in marketing. You see the deception in the news. You feel the energetic drain of certain environments. You question everything you were taught, and that's not rebellion. That's wisdom. You're unplugging from the matrix, and they can feel it. You may have noticed things shifting, people falling away, jobs feeling meaningless, old habits no longer satisfying. That's the system losing its hold on you. You're not asleep anymore. You're not hypnotized by the dream of normal. You're starting to live by a higher truth, and it scares them, because awakened souls don't follow the script. They create new realities. They speak from intuition. They break generational patterns. They heal timelines. They remember their magic. And that is the greatest threat to the system. You've always been powerful. They just hoped you'd never find out. But it's too late now. You know. You remember. You feel it in your bones. They can't unring that bell. You were never meant to stay asleep. You were meant to rise. And no power on this earth, no institution, no belief system, no lie, is stronger than a soul that has remembered its own light. Because once you awaken, you don't go back. You go forward. And the world is about to feel the full force of who you really are. Now that the veil has been lifted. Now that the truth is no longer hiding in shadows. Now that your soul has remembered why it came here. The question is no longer what if. The question is, what now? Because once you know, once you see, you can't go back. You can't unfeel the knowing. You can't silence the call. The energy that woke you up is the same energy now asking for your action. This isn't just about awareness. It's about embodiment. It's about becoming what you remembered. You weren't shown all of this for no reason. You didn't stumble onto this wisdom by accident. You were guided here. Your soul orchestrated every experience, even the pain, even the confusion, to bring you to this threshold. The threshold between your old life and your true life. So what will you choose? Will you retreat into comfort, or rise into courage? Will you keep pretending, or will you start creating? Will you live from fear, or from freedom? Because now that you know the truth, that you are divine, that you are powerful, that the matrix was a lie, you hold a sacred responsibility. Not to change the whole world in one day, but to start living like you're awake. Because when one soul lives fully awake, fully lit, it becomes a lighthouse. It doesn't force others to wake up. It simply radiates so brightly that it becomes impossible to ignore. So start there. Start with you. Clean your energy. Reconnect with your inner guidance. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Create from the place your fear once lived. Say no to what drains you. Say yes to what sets your soul on fire. This is how you reclaim your timeline. This is how you become the author of your own destiny. This is how you collapse the old contracts and start writing the new ones, the ones aligned with your purpose, your soul family, your higher path. Because here's what they don't tell you. You don't have to wait for the world to change to live differently. You don't have to wait for the system to fall before you rise. You don't need permission to evolve. All you need is to decide. And maybe that's what this whole journey has been about. Not becoming someone else, but remembering who you already are, beneath the conditioning, beneath the programming, beneath the fear. You are the cosmic disruptor. You are the divine rebel. You are the pattern breaker, the cycle ender, the light carrier. And every time you make a conscious choice, to forgive, to heal, to dream, to create, to rest, to rebel against the false narratives, you send ripples through the quantum field. You change the frequency of Earth. And that is what you came here to do. So take the vision that's been stirring in your heart, and bring it to life. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll never feel fully ready. Do it now. Even if it's messy. Even if it's scary. Even if it's small. Your soul doesn't care about perfection. It cares about truth. It cares about alignment. It cares about expansion. It cares about living with your eyes wide open. And yes, the path of awakening is not always easy. You'll grieve the version of yourself you had to leave behind. You'll face moments of doubt, isolation, and deep emotional clearing. You'll see the world differently, and sometimes that hurts. But it's also beautiful, because you'll feel more than you ever did before. You'll experience joy in places you never thought to look. You'll attract souls who mirror your truth, not your trauma. You'll remember how magical life really is. Synchronicities will become normal. Manifestation will accelerate. Healing will happen in quantum leaps. And love, real, sacred, divine love, will find you in forms you couldn't have imagined. Because the universe always responds to authenticity. And now that you're living in alignment, the universe can finally meet you at your highest vibration. So don't dim your light anymore. Don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Don't explain your awakening to those still asleep. Just be. Be the embodiment of truth. Be the revolution that whispers instead of shouts. Be the portal through which the new earth is born. This is not the end of your awakening. It's just the beginning. 1,000 lifetimes led you here. And now the real work begins. Not the hustle of the ego, but the alignment of the soul. Every breath you take is a choice. Every word you speak is a spell. Every step you walk is a prayer. And every time you say yes to your divine self, you say no to the illusion. So rise. Rise not because you're fearless, but because your soul is ready. Rise even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or misunderstood. Rise for the ancestors who dreamed of this moment, and for the descendants who will inherit the world you're creating. Because you're not just waking up for you. You're waking up for all of us. The dream is over. The spell is broken. The matrix is collapsing. And your real life, your soul life, starts now. So the only question left is, now that you know, what will you do? Choose wisely. Choose truth. Choose you.